How can a few simple Bible verses from Jesus help you find true mental peace? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in stress and anxiety. Our minds can become overwhelmed with worries about the past, present, and future. But what if I told you that Jesus' teachings in the Bible hold the key to unlocking true mental peace? For centuries, people have turned to the Bible for comfort and clarity, and it's amazing how relevant its wisdom remains today. The Bible is full of verses that offer guidance on how to achieve mental peace. Jesus' teachings, in particular, provide a unique perspective on how to live a peaceful life. By applying His wisdom to our daily lives, we can experience a sense of calm and tranquility that goes beyond our circumstances. Mental peace is not just a feeling, it's a state of being that can transform our lives. When we experience mental peace, we're better equipped to handle life's challenges, build stronger relationships, and enjoy a deeper sense of purpose. So, let's dive into 5 powerful Bible verses that can help you find true mental peace. These verses have been a source of comfort and strength for millions of people around the world. They're simple yet profound, and their message is just as relevant today as it was when Jesus first spoke to them. One of the most powerful verses on mental peace is Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30, where Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." This verse speaks directly to our exhaustion and worry, offering a solution that only Jesus can provide. What I love about this verse is that it acknowledges our weariness and offers a solution. Jesus isn't asking us to try harder or be stronger, He's inviting us to come to Him and find rest. This is a radical concept in today's self-help culture, where we're often encouraged to push through and persevere. The context of this verse is also important. Jesus was speaking to people who were burdened by the weight of their own expectations and the expectations of others. He's saying that we don't have to carry that weight, we can give it to Him and find rest. By applying this verse to our lives, we can experience a sense of freedom and release. We can let go of our burdens and trust Jesus to carry them for us. This is the first step towards achieving mental peace. Another verse that offers guidance on mental peace is Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7, which says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This verse provides a practical strategy for managing anxiety and stress. The key to this verse is the phrase, "with thanksgiving." When we come to God with our requests, we're not just presenting our problems, we're also expressing gratitude for what He has already done. This shifts our focus from what's lacking to what we already have. Anxiety and stress are common experiences for many of us. We worry about our finances, relationships, and health. But what if we could learn to manage those feelings by turning to God in prayer? By applying this verse to our lives, we can experience a sense of peace that goes beyond our understanding. We can trust God to guard our hearts and minds, even in the midst of challenging circumstances. This is a powerful way to achieve mental peace. The third verse I want to share is Proverbs 4 verse 23, which says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This verse emphasizes the importance of taking care of our hearts and minds. Our hearts and minds are the source of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. When we guard them, we're protecting the wellspring of our lives. This verse encourages us to be mindful of what we're allowing into our hearts and minds. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts and emotions. But what if we could learn to guard our hearts and minds, focusing on what brings us joy and peace? By applying this verse to our lives, we can experience a sense of inner calm and clarity. We can learn to prioritize our well-being and make choices that promote mental peace. The fourth verse I want to share is Isaiah 26 verse 3, which says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." This verse highlights the importance of trusting in God. When we trust in God, we're able to experience a sense of peace that's not dependent on our circumstances. This verse encourages us to focus on building a strong relationship with God. Negative thoughts and emotions can be overwhelming at times. But what if we could learn to overcome them by focusing on God's peace? By applying this verse to our lives, we can experience a sense of peace that's not shaken by life's challenges. We can trust God to keep us in perfect peace, even when everything around us seems uncertain. The fifth and final verse I want to share is John 14 verse 27, where Jesus says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." This verse is a beautiful promise from Jesus himself. Jesus is saying that his peace is different from the world's peace. The world's peace is often based on circumstances, but Jesus' peace is based on his presence in our lives. In a world that often seems troubled and afraid, Jesus is offering us a different way. He's inviting us to experience his peace, which is a gift that we can't find anywhere else. By applying this verse to our lives, we can experience a sense of peace that's not dependent on our circumstances. We can trust Jesus to give us his peace, which is a gift that will stay with us forever. Let's recap the 5 verses that we've discussed today. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30 invites us to come to Jesus and find rest. Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7 encourages us to pray with thanksgiving and experience God's peace. Proverbs 4 verse 23 reminds us to guard our hearts and minds. Isaiah 26 verse 3 promises that God will keep us in perfect peace when we trust in him. And John 14 verse 27 gives us Jesus' own promise of peace. These verses offer a powerful guide for achieving mental peace. By applying them to our lives, we can experience a sense of calm, clarity, and purpose. If you were blessed by these verses, I encourage you to share your favorite one in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos on related spiritual topics, and I'll see you in the next one.